Greetings, everyone. I'm, of course, Director Arketer of Arketer Labs. I have with me this stream one Ansgar T. Odinson, a artist of sorts, who will be my guest this Saturday interview stream. Ansgar, if you would care to perhaps introduce yourself, tell us a bit what you're doing here and in general, I suppose.
Oh, sure. Hey, what's going on? Hello, Internet. I am an artist, and I'm working on a graphic novel at the moment. I also do a little bit of YouTube activism and Twitter shit posting, and the regular usual stuff.
When you say YouTube activism, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think that I would say that, how should I phrase this exactly? Artistic freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, and freedom of speech are paramount. And so my channel is sort of dedicated to those principles. And so I make a video series called Gothic Puppet Theater, in where I take sort of concepts around these ideas and put on a presentation of sorts.
Very good. I don't think we have the link to your YouTube channel. Could you take some time to perhaps send that to...
Oh, sure. You can also just look up Ansgar Odinson, just as my name is spelled in YouTube. But yeah, I'll send that over to you.
Ansgar Odinson for his YouTube videos. We're going to get back to that in a moment. How long have you been at this, Ansgar?
Well, I would say that the actual graphic novel itself, probably, if you count development and the time I've put into creating these characters and stuff, right about 11 years. YouTube, I've been at it about 2 years. That's all.
Yeah, you're still technically, I think, a veteran compared to me in that case. Novel. So you start with the art first and foremost. Was it always towards the end of making comics, or when would you say you went pro?
Yeah, okay. So at first, my first dream when I was much younger was to go into video games, and I discovered very quickly that in the video game scene, you basically are going to get assigned a single job, right? Like, you're going to be the dude that paints shrubbery into a scene or whatever. The chances of you actually getting to be have any kind of creative control were almost nothing. So from a very young age, I decided, okay, I want to do comics instead. I want to tell my own stories, create my own characters. And then I fell in love with role playing, Dungeons and Dragons, World of Darkness, stuff like that. And so at first I started creating this comic book universe actually as a role playing universe. And then about 11 years ago, my wife and I started co-writing, and we've been working toward this end for a long time. And I had a lot written, and there's been a lot of revisions, and I've gone back to I've gone back into old work and destroyed it, and now we're finally in a place where we know exactly what we want the timeline to be, who we want the characters to be, and we're pushing forward.
Excellent. Well, it certainly seem to have come a very long way, and with 11 years of experience, you're quite possibly now technically an expert. Oh, yes. Greetings, by the way, to Steam, Izub, Nightwolf, Angry Froman, who's also managing the chat, so you know who to blame. Jeroba, Ark, Survival Evolved, Green Badger Outdoors, greetings. And Lo-Fi was here briefly, but is now gone. Might be for the best. I did some art of them that they probably don't want to see. But I'm still going to show off eventually. Alright, where were we? Let's see. You've been active on YouTube and Twitter. You've been around for 2 years, which gives you at least half a year, probably more than I have in experience. What are some of the big lessons you've learned from internet artistry slash YouTubery?
Oh, geez. One, don't get too heavily involved in any single group because inevitably they're going to fracture. There's going to be drama, and things are going to go not the way you want them to. The second I would say is couch what you say, man, because people are constantly looking for ways to take everything you say out of context, and I still don't do a perfect job. I still kind of suck at it sometimes, but you got to be careful about exactly how you express yourself because people are looking for ways to turn you into the asshole.
Yes, I certainly, in my short amount of time, seen this very often. As beloved slash hated talkie man Jordan Peterson once said, it's very important to be very precise in your speech.
Yeah. Even my friends call me out when I mess something up, and it's like, yeah, you're right. I could have been said that a little better.
Or just try to say as little as possible that has any sort of importance. Increasingly, it's just the safest way to go. We've seen that on the internet. At this point, it really doesn't matter what you say. If it's a sufficiently icky topic, just discussing it at all makes you a bad person.
Yes, dude, I actually was trying to. Okay, somebody today posted a picture of the opening weekend earnings of Captain Marvel and was saying, "Oh, look, the trolls failed," and all I said was I was agreeing with them, and all I said was, to be fair, this is a Marvel movie, and like the Transformers movie, that's a license to print money. It doesn't matter how good or how bad the movie is; it's going to make a ton of money. No one's going to stop that, and that was enough to cause like a giant argument. And it was like, dude, I'm just walking away from this. This is stupid. I'm not even disagreeing with you.
I, however, am bring it. Look, on opening weekend when they have to, for the release day, have to basically buy out untold theaters to where your choices are Captain Marvel or Medea.
Yeah.
That's not indicating a quality film. And I've been looking at the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, both the critics and the amateurs. They're really trying to make the amateurs go away on this one, clearly. But what I found really funny were the critics, the professional critics, who were so bold as to give Captain Marvel a negative review, but state it was because it wasn't feminist enough.
Like, here's the thing for me. I just know that kind of like the Transformers movie, right? Like, even if this movie didn't do well for an MCU movie, it's still going to make a bunch of money just off of brand power, right? There's certain brands that once you build them, at least until you deliver consistent, flops, people are going to go see them. I shouldn't say flops, consistent crap. People are going to go see them no matter what. I think Captain Marvel's probably one of those movies. Will it make as much money as they had hoped? Probably not. And that probably has a lot to do with Brie and her, let's call it aggressive marketing campaign of telling everyone that they're, misogynists if they don't want to see her movie, but then simultaneously telling them not to go see her movie.
Because it's not for you, It's
right. It's not for you. Don't see it. Okay, I won't see it. Shut up, misogynist.
Yes, and of course we're just looking forward to the next Marvel or possibly alternative movie. That's the first to have a female lead.
Oh yes, the first.
Yes,
I know. Just like what was it? Black Panther was the first black superhero on screen. Ignore Blade, but whatever.
Look, if they bring back Wesley Snipes with Blade, I think that could go somewhere. But look, there are so many good movies with female leads that are great and people like them, and they're all just erased from history because they have to have this distinction of being the first, even when it's probably going to be a god-awful film. Like, it certainly seems Captain Marvel was. I don't know yet, because I have no intention of watching it at any point where I have to pay for it in the slightest. There's
Yeah.
someone else who's going to be handling that one for me, but I've seen some wonderful synopsis, and I have to say, what I felt so far, besides crippling apathy, was deep pity for Samuel L. Jackson.
Honestly, I'm actually I don't want to see any of the Marvel movies right now. And one of the reasons for it has everything to do with how they're treating. It's strangely enough, I know, call me strange, but the way they're treating Stan Lee's old Twitter account, like they've literally used it to advertise their movies. They're tweeting out advertisements using his old Twitter account, and like to me that's just like so disrespectful. It's like they're taking out his digital corpse, putting a billboard around his neck and waving him around, like keep it as a tribute account, maybe do some quotes of Stan Lee, or show some videos where he was doing cameos, fun stuff like that, his fans would appreciate. Don't use his corpse to advertise. That's just
No, that's in poor taste and indeed ghoulish. Oh, greetings, by the way, to Dire Wolf, who's finally joined us. Steam is a filthy liar, and Broman would argue that the Marvel market has started to be oversaturated and starting to go downhill overall. I would agree. I think it'd go much farther. Look,
it's starting to get very samey too.
it is. They have to know that this is a bad direction. I'm hearing rumors about Marvel being shut down, maybe. That's horrifying a concept. But what I'm hearing, the most disturbing thing I've heard so far is rumors they're going to try to turn America Chavez into a film as well.
Really?
And at that point, can anyone with a functioning brain whatsoever doubt that whoever's at top has decided to just run the entire company into the ground, burn it?
I kind of think that's sort of what's happening. Like, what I think is Marvel Comics, like, the rumor is that they might shut down Marvel Comics only because the comic side of the business is doing so poorly, right? But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is the comics themselves are almost necessary just to promote the brand, right? And their movie, their cinematic universe is just so important to how much money they make. And so what they're going to do is they'll just keep Marvel Comics open for as long as the MCU is profitable. When the MCU is no longer profitable enough for Disney, they'll probably dismantle both the Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics. They'll probably absorb the most profitable characters into Disney, and Marvel will be no more. Sucks, but it's probably the business reality.
What now? Sorry, hold on. I have to take this. Yes.
Let's make fun of Arketer while we can.
It's muted now. Okay, look, you already may give up the ID tag. It's a generic lab coat, really. Look. This is not SSI. We'll discuss it later, Zero. Yes, look, you're in... Yes, I know. It's point of having security chief if you don't... It's fine. Look, if you see someone wandering around in one of these lab coats, then you have a bigger problem if you don't recognize them in the facility, period. Right, later. We'll discuss it later, Zero. It's been taken under advisement. Progress continues.
Don't mind us. We were just reminiscing about that time you were twerking.
Disregard all of that. Moving on.
Oh, what?
Exactly. It was used proper the entire time. Neurotic people, in short. Right, where were we? Jerobe had a comment. My opinion on the issue is that women being the main focus character of the movie has no inherent issue. Well, this is, I think, a big doll for most of us. Of course, but when the movie is framed from ideology like feminism, it loses all merit. Well, yes. Yes. And Direwolf is now claiming I don't have legs at all. Direwolf, you've seen me thrusting my groin at the camera in the past. That's certainly next-gen special effects if I don't have legs at all. I assume you must assume in that case that I have some sort of Baron Harkonnen anti-gravity belt, which, you know, that would be cool. I would like to have one of those eventually, but the technology isn't there yet. Let's see, where was I? Oh yes, I would like to remind everyone that we have the Streamlabs link here somewhere. And if you would like to donate to Direwolf Media and otherwise support this show that way, always welcome. Froman is, of course, sharply on the lookout for any paid chat things. Right. Back to you, Ansgar. Have you seen Captain Marvel yet?
I haven't, and don't plan on it.
Okay.
Not in any capacity I have to pay for it.
Well, we're definitely on the same page there. I've been quite content to spoiler myself and then just play the odds of me being stuck on a plane that plays it as the in-flight movie, because reality hates me. That's how I saw the last Ghostbusters film.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a special kind of hell.
There was no escape. And the dance number.
Oh, God, there's a dance number?
You had the blessing of not seeing the Ghostbusters remake?
I have not seen it.
Whatever you've heard, it's so much worse.
Oh, no.
And one of the things that burns me the most about it is they had Mr. Thor, what the actor, I forget his name, replacing Janine's character as the gender-swapped secretary in this case. Janine! Do you remember Janine? Ansgar?
Yes. Yes.
Were they a brain-dead piece of meat who was there just for the Ghostbusters to drool over?
No, she was actually the most responsible and with it, character in the entire ensemble.
Interesting. That's how I remember them as well, and I think they played a major part in my personal weakness for red hair and glasses. But that's not what happened in the Ghostbusters remake. No, they replaced it with the actor from Thor, who was just this brain-dead beefcake who wore glasses without lenses because he thought it made him look smarter.
Oh, God. You know, the thing is there's a way to do a Ghostbusters movie with a female cast, and this just wasn't it. Like, if they had said, oh, hey, look, the original cast, they had families, and here's like a couple nieces and a daughter, and they're taking on the family business. Okay, fine, if they got the right cast to do it, but I hate remakes. I really do. I hate just, no, that never happened. We're going to try and do our own thing, you know?
And I hear they're going to make another Ghostbusters film where they sort of hint that they might have learned a lesson there, although now it's some sort of hate crime to make a good Ghostbusters sequel.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I think it was Leslie Jones that was tweeting about it, basically saying this is something Trump would do, and it's like she's acting like her movie's the original, and they're trying to remake her movie. It's like, no, your movie was the remake. They're going back to the original universe.
I hope they do better. Look, if they want to make a good sequel, it would have been very easy if they'd done so some time ago. I don't know if you're familiar with the Ghostbusters video game that came out for PC and PS3, I think? Maybe PS2.
I think it was PS3.
Fantastic game, and the lore of that, the storyline, was a straight sequel that tied up all the movies together, basically. That
Yeah,
was
I don't know what the interest is going to be like for a new continuation of the Ghostbusters franchise. We'll see, but I have my doubts.
no, I have mine too, but fingers are crossed. Maybe now they'll do what they should have done the first time and make a decent sequel. They've got plenty they can draw from. They had that new Burger King Kids Club of Ghostbusters, who weren't that bad overall. What, Extreme Ghostbusters were they? You had a you had a goth girl in that one. She was great.
Yeah.
Plenty of things you could draw
Yeah.
on to make a sequel that is quality. Maybe, fingers crossed, we'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath either because, well, my optimism has yet to be rewarded. But let's get back to your art. You presented me with 3 pieces of your art to just give an example of what you can do, and I thought maybe I would share one of those with the people right now. We have this one here, which is the sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like the universe is kind of a cyberpunk universe, and so this is a seedier kind of, you know, more dank area of, and I don't mean dank as in dank memes, I mean like, you know, dank, dark, repressive kind of area of one of the barrier cities.
I tend to think of dank as being sort of a low light and damp, which
Yes.
I suppose this could be that. It's very nice, I guess. Apparently, Foxlot is offering the argument that I'm Direwolf's face rig character. No, I'm going to not claim to be the ones pulling the string behind the scenes at Direwolf Media. If I were, I would probably deny it as well, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt, but probably not. This is, of course, you know, really nice piece of art, I guess, Ansgar. I wanted to sort of go head-to-head with you, so I brought up some of my art pieces to compare against. Shall I share them with you? Would you like to see those, Ansgar?
Sure.
Yeah, you know, we have this nice one. It's nice sci-fi. You have this scaly avatar thing there. But this one, I call it Viking Tory. And look, it's set at night, clearly. And I've gone for a very simplistic approach to keep it relatable. And you can just bring it directly into your heart. It's a picture of triumph. We have our Viking standing triumphantly on a cliffside, having overcome all of his adversaries and the temptations of the cheap wenches, still clinging to him even now. I feel it's very profound, and even looking at it now, it just moves me. Ansgar, what do you think?
Oh, it belongs in a gallery for sure. Absolutely.
I'm glad you feel that way. I was kind of mean about your previous work. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I'll try to be more supportive as we move forward. We have another one from you I think we can go to now. Now, this is it's a great piece. Very striking as the big red over the black, and I have a feeling that Odo Naga would no doubt get a big kick out of this piece. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about it.
Sure. This is one of the central characters in the sort of ensemble cast of the graphic novel. She is a master arsonist and a ninja, as you can probably see, at least from the costume. Whose name is well, at least her operating name. I haven't really revealed all of her bio yet on my website, but that's Fire Blossom.
So Fire Blossom, the ninja catgirl assassin-ish character, it's nice. Definitely going to be very popular with the furries in Direwolf Media's audience, which don't include Direwolf himself. He just, presents a anthropomorphic wolf avatar, but not a furry, and ergo, I suppose he's going to have to appreciate this on a more intellectual level. Apparently, Steam is flirting with me, just wants to spank me. Greetings, Jinxie! And now everyone is arguing of whether or not Steam is a trap. You brought it on yourself, Steam. And tonight we have in hell, it's more skillful than a bunch of modern art that sells for millions. Yes, that's actually true. I would say, look, I need to say good things about your artwork. I want to support you. You're trying very hard. And I will say that, objectively, I find this art superior in quality to, say, Banksy's piece that he auctioned off and then almost sort of didn't quite shred itself, kind of making a mockery of the whole effort. That was supposed to be so profound.
Oh, thank you. I'll be honest, you know, I was deeply inspired as a kid by things like Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and shit like that. I wouldn't say, I mean, I've got some friends who are like real hardcore furries. My most of my art is certainly anthropomorphic. It doesn't have the avatar quality or quite the style of what you'd normally think of as furry art, but I know a lot of people are going to brand since it's anthropomorphic, my art is furry art. You know what, that doesn't fucking bother me. They can, you know, it's furry art, whatever.
Look, we don't judge here, not seriously anyway. Well, we might judge, but we don't condemn. At least I don't. I can't speak for anyone else watching, but I don't. We're fine. This next piece I'm going to show in response to this is a personal one. It touches upon something I have some strong feelings on. People who've watched my streams in the past have seen this before, but this is sort of the condensed feeling of this particular view. I call it Elf Burnation.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
It's a statement, I feel a very profound statement, on the sort of hubris of elves, the obnoxiousness, the smug haughtiness that invites, inevitably in most fantasy contexts, reckoning, an eventual reckoning, justice, in my opinion. And look, it just cheers me up every time seeing them burn. What?
Yeah. Elves need a good burning now and again. It's just true.
Yeah, well, it's just so damn smug. Look, they're obnoxious even in some really well-regarded pieces of fiction, like The Silmarillion, The Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. They're intolerable. Just cannot stand them.
Yeah, no, this is an inspiring piece. This is almost a religious experience to gaze upon.
I'm getting some criticism in the chat from Direwolf, who calls this the product of a deranged mind. I don't think so. Look, the actual artist here is approving of it. I think you're being just a little too critical, Direwolf. But, you know, maybe it's not for everyone. I'm not a professional. This is just a hobby, really. So let's move on to your next piece. This one, look, this is probably the best one. This one speaks to me. I think it's just kind of want to go sailing on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is the direction of the comics moves very much into kind of a medieval steampunk fantasy. It's and this is the airship that the main cast of characters who are part of this group called the Luminarium, which is a think of it as like a you know how back in let's say the Victorian era, there were societies that would get together to fund expeditions and science and discovery. Well, that's what the Luminarium is. And so this is the airship that they use to go on, you know, expeditions and discoveries and things like that.
Oh, sorry, we had a question about my last work of art. Why is that elf shaped like a bean pod? Well, you know, because elves are so attuned with nature that... why wouldn't they be? It's a plant shape, very appropriate to the smug tree huggers. I would have stressed that my contempt isn't just for the wood elves, mind you. Those are the hippy-dippy smug elves, but my contempt is deepest for the high elves, and yes, even the dark elves, who you would think would be sort of the polar opposite of elves, but they're not. They're just the elves that have gone goth and are smug about being all edgy as opposed to enlightened.
Elves, they're all just smug of a different, flavor.
Right. That's it right there. So it's really hard for me to sympathize with elves in just about any context. No, Dragon Age had the enslaved elves, and that was sad. I wouldn't approve of that necessarily, but certainly their empires deserve to be razed to the ground. Now, I have to say, I really like what you've done here. I'm having some regrets, really. My next piece is just not competitive.
Let's see it.
Well, alright then. Apparently Steam's threatening to kidnap you, by the way, so be sure to look through your security system if someone knocks on the door.
Fair enough.
Look, here's my piece. It was a bit of a rush job. It's your souvenir for turning up for this. I'm sorry. There you go.
Oh my god, is that ceramic?
But strictly speaking, it was made out of nothing. Or digital space, in this case.
Oh.
I know, I did my best in the short notice. I couldn't quite imbue it with the same depth that my previous works contained, but I hope you like it anyway. I make point of sending this to you. It's going to be on transparency. You can use it however you see fit. It's your property, far as I'm concerned. So, just look. Glad if you like it. Sorry again.
No, I freaking love it, man. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I'm absolutely going to use that for something.
Very, very good. Okay. I suppose I should get back to you as the guest. Where do you really want to go now? Oh, by the way, Froman. What do you mean, like Cthulhu's crotch? Froman, now's the time to share out that Luminarium link if you haven't already, just over the chats and whatnot.
Oh yeah, luminariumcomic.com. Let me see if I can. Where should I link that? Do you allow links in your actual YouTube?
Well, yes. This is going over about 5 or so channels. Roman should be on that as chat manager, so it'll be going out on at least anyone that it's a wrench for. And actually most of them at the least.
Yeah, let me...
I've already forwarded the link to Froman, so he's on it. He's done posted on the 2 that are active, so 2 channels have gotten your Luminarium link.
Oh, I actually typed it in wrong. There's the real link. There you go.
Oh.
luminariumcomic.com. But yeah, right now what I've got up is a website that has a gallery of different artwork. I'm starting to fill out lore sections. And the whole thing, the idea is that what I want to do is I'm going to start releasing web comics very soon. My patrons will get access to them right away as web comics, and then once the first graphic novel is done, where each comic is basically going to be like a chapter of that graphic novel, I'm going to start some kind of a Kickstarter or GoFundMe or whatever. I will actually print the thing out. And then once that's been done, I will take all of the previous web comics and put them onto some kind of a site where people can read them for free. And then the current patrons will start getting the new chapters, the new comics going forward. Excellent.
Very generous of you, and I certainly hope you have a lot of success on that. When the Luminarium comic... Oh, greetings, next 6 minutes. Regards to your evil clone who is responsible for seeing Captain Marvel. Better them than me. Where was I? Oh, yes. Do you have any other future projects planned, or are you just focusing on Luminarium for now?
I'm focusing on Luminarium for now, but there's a few things that I want to do. I'm continuing my YouTube series, and if this gets big enough, and I don't expect it ever to get huge. I know it's got some kind of niche subject matter, but if this ever gets big enough, I'd like to do something like maybe an indie video game or something like that. Could be really cool.
Very good. I hope you get the chance. I really don't know how I could possibly help, but if I could, certainly I would be honored to. Let's see, I suppose we've gotten over halfway through, so I didn't completely botch it, but I'm kind of running short on questions. Was there something you wanted to discuss in particular, or shall we just try to bring up some articles to mask for my inadequacies?
Sure, there was one thing I wanted to add about the comic in general. One of the things that is very important to me is sort of anti-puritanical, I guess, ethics. And so I do include, I am going to be including things like sex and nudity in the comic, but I don't consider it like a pornographic comic because that's not the focus of the content. It's in there simply because I feel like it's part of the story, or at least it can be in some situations, and I refuse to self-censor. You know what I mean? I refuse to take out anything I think is part of the story, no matter what somebody's sensibilities might be.
I approve. So, tasteful nudity may be existing in these comics. If that is disturbing and or triggering, well, now you know, but assuming you can deal with it, then probably should be a selling point, I would say.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that actually sounds good to me. I am definitely not a pro-censorship individual overall. Certainly, I think we have a bit of an excess of it in general.
I would agree. It's one of my big things I like pushing back against is censorship.
Oh dear. And I've just been informed that some acquaintances will have a thing or two to say about Captain Marvel themselves, which I take to mean they've had the misfortune of seeing it.
Uh-oh.
Poor Samuel L. Jackson. At least the critics are universal on one thing. Whether they liked it or hated it, they all note that Samuel L. basically carried the damn thing on his shoulders, and I believe it.
Well, it's hard to outshine Samuel L. Jackson. So if they're going to put Samuel L. Jackson in the movie for an extended period of time, like who's going to... There's very few actors that are going to be able to keep the spotlight on them up against that.
Yes. This is probably one reason they put him on here, because otherwise, if there's no one else to focus on, they might glaze over entirely. Well, speaking of movies and scandals in movies, I suppose we can go and move on to an article. Apparently, Will Smith casting as Richard Williams sparks colorism debate?
Yeah, he isn't black enough, apparently. I don't even get that. Like, you think about it, and the ultimate ridiculous place that this ends up getting is everybody segregated into what they can and can't do based on specific skin color. Not even just like, oh, we need to get a white or black actor. No, it has to be of this specific skin tone.
Do they carry around, like, painters' palettes? Do they have a chart somewhere? Can they share that with the rest of us? You would think that if they expect us to abide by these arbitrary rules based upon the color of someone's skin in order to not be racist, they could at least provide us with at least a pamphlet with more than words. We clearly need a color chart here.
Someone should make that. Absolutely, someone should make that, including like a little error bar sliders that you can show. So, if someone's this color, you can go this much lighter, this much darker, but no more. Actually, wait, that's right. You can go as dark as you want. You just can't go any lighter. That's what it is.
Yes. Look, identity politics. It's everything bad. It really is just all the worst. It's racist, it's sexist, it's everything it says it's not. Designed to divide everyone infinitely into these wonderful little categories where they're only allowed to do as the prophets say.
Ark, are you speaking out against political correctness? It's by definition correct.
Yeah, no. Mind you, they didn't call it political correctness anymore. It's all about being sensitive. So sensitive, in fact, that they're incredibly intolerant.
You know, one of my favorite terms to hate is this new thing calling people of color. And what really sets it apart for me is you're not even just talking about one group of people. You're literally drawing a line down, you know, the center of humanity and saying, like, anyone who is white on that side, anyone who isn't on that side. It's like creating teams.
Well, no, it's gotten worse than that. It's not whites over here and non-whites over there. It's whites over there, Israelites over there, passing whites over here, light-skinned privileged over here, especially dark-skinned individuals over here, Muslims over here, of course, because that's a thing as well.
Progressive, yes.
You know, there's an intersectional calculator to help you find this out. I don't know where I put the link to that. Yeah, I didn't prepare it in advance, but it's funny. You can learn all the things that make you a terrible person by chance of your birth.
I can get that if you'd like.
You know, why not? Let's provide me the link from it, and we'll take the intersectionality test together.
All right. Did you see, by the way, the article similar to this, where people were outraged that The Rock took the part in Skyscraper because he wasn't actually missing a leg?
Yes, I did, and I remember the argument over.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Ableism just hurts as a concept.
Yeah.
It's one thing to pick on someone they have a disability. It's another thing to say that.
Well, the new thing is no longer humanizing victims and saying, hey, this person's been through something, let's humanize them, let's lift them up. The new thing is let's tear everyone else down.
Yes. It's not about lifting up, it's about tearing down, and it's really of only use to, well, tyrants, really, because they all need the peasants to be murdering each other 24/7 for the stupidest crap imaginable. And identity politics plays right into that. It's perfect for that role. Okay, Ansgar, let's find out what your intersectionality score is.
Okay, wow. Well, I'm definitely about as pasty as I can get.
So you're white. That's really going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Straight.
I'm bi, but a little toward the straight side, just a tiny bit.
Okay, so we'll probably put you here. We'll be generous.
Fair.
Male or female?
Male.
Ooh, that's white and male. This is looking very bad for you, Ansgar. Cisgender or trans?
Definitely cisgender. No.
Rich or poor?
Poor. Very.
Younger or older?
What's 38? Is that like what, middle?
I think it's relative, so it's like, are you younger or older than yourself?
I am the exact age as myself.
We'll put it around there. Able-bodied or disabled?
Able-bodied, but not all the way. I am fat and out of shape, so, you know.
Okay, we'll put it at the B under bodied.
Yeah.
English first language or English second language?
English first language. Oh, this is...
Now, this is not really reliable. I don't presume you're in Canada, and neither am I, but it thinks we are. Were you born in the country you were in, or you were born in another country and then moved?
Yeah, I'm born here in the U.S., so we're good.
Okay, so you're going to be a filthy native. More educated or less educated?
More educated, some college.
Okay, I'll put that under E because you don't have an Ivy League degree or something. Not Christian, devout Christian.
Not Christian at all.
that might help in this case. Not Muslim, devout Muslim.
Not Muslim at all. I know.
Not Jewish, devout Jewish.
Not Jewish at all.
Yeah, I'm extraordinarily Muslim and Jewish. One half wants to kill the other.
And Gabby G apparently wants to see mocking drunks as ableist. They can't help it. It's chemical imbalance. I help him get off the floor, you bigot. I'm for this. Okay, let's see. Your intersectionality score is 23. You are more privileged than 52% of others by ways.
Oh boy. Yeah, so much privilege. Yes.
Terribly
All
privileged.
my privilege. Yes.
So, but don't
I
worry.
should check it.
Don't worry, they have some tips for you here. How can you improve your score? Unfortunately, you're born with most of your intersectional factors. Sorry. In many ways, you're just a bad person by the way you were born, you monster. However, you can make some improvement to your score by getting more involved with Islam or Judaism. Donate all of your excess wealth to charity. If you're poor, I don't know how they expect you to do that one. And of course, explore the wild side of your sexuality. So if you really want to bring that intersectionality score something in acceptable ranges, find a donkey and have at it. The easiest way to improve your score, however, is to champion the intersectionality of your more marginalized friends. You may award yourself up to 5 points, depending on the level of your activism. Ansgar, do you murder in the name of your less advantaged friends?
I don't.
Bigot.
God damn.
And
Suck. I'm a horrible person.
well, you know, they really want to help you improve your score, but at the same time, it doesn't count for much because, like people ask, can I be accused of being oppressive even if I have a high score? And the answer, of course, is yes. Yes, having a high intersectionality score doesn't completely immunize you from being called an oppressor. You may be vulnerable to weakest link attacks, that is, being called an oppressor or on any intersectionality factors by those disadvantaged in that factor. So you're never going to not be an oppressor. Someone's going to see you as an oppressor.
Black, homeless Muslim dude, and you are still an oppressor because penis.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. Muslims can't be black. It's written in one of their books. Like, the black Muslim is a fake Muslim. I'm not joking about that.
Oh, Jesus.
Religion of peace and tolerance.
Yeah.
The Jew slider increases your intersectionality score to where you're less privileged if you're Jew. I personally want to know what happens if you put the slider for Jewish and Muslim to max.
What if I was a Jewish Muslim?
Oh, apparently maxing out both of those in this case makes you even more privileged. Weird.
You know what it is? It's probably the Jewish thing because a lot of the SJWs really don't like the Jews.
Not wrong.
You're still the minority of people who are privileged, but what?
Yeah, turn down the Jewish one.
Curiously, it was the same when both.
Yeah.
You are more privileged than 51% of others. Maxed out. 55% of others are more privileged than you.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. That does.
Apparently, crosses that threshold, they try to minimize it.
Oh.
Well, needless to say, I too am, of course, a horrible bigot monster by virtue of my birth, and also by virtue of not being a Jewish Muslim.
Right. So we should adopt a religion to not be monsters. A religion that is horribly oppressive to women.
Yes.
In all reality, yeah.
I really have been wondering about the logic behind that one for the longest time. Let's see. An upcoming biopic about the father of Serena and Venus Williams has faced criticism and reports that Will Smith will play the lead role. Richard Williams, 77, coached his daughters to become two of the world's greatest tennis players, and also kind of obnoxious prima donnas on the court. Moving on, despite having no previous experience of the game. But Smith's reported casting in the film has angered critics who say he is too light-skinned for the part. The actor has not yet commented on the reported casting or the criticism. Colorism is a form of discrimination against dark-skinned people in favor of those with lighter skin from the same race. That's funny. It sounds like colorism is precisely what these people are guilty of. They're being biased against a dark-skinned person in favor of someone with darker skin from the same race.
You know what they should do is they should just make Will Smith wear blackface and really get them chasing their tails.
Look, we just need Will Smith to dye himself a darker shade.
Yes, yes.
It can lead to lack of representation in film, TV, and fashion, particularly in the Hollywood and Bollywood, as well as discrimination at work on dating sites, and even to serious health problems from skin bleaching creams.
Well, you know, one of the things that happens that people have not taken into account is that lighter skin in general, not across the board, but in general shows up in photography in a very different way. Because darker skin absorbs more light, it ends up showing off more of the wrinkles and imperfections in the skin when using standard methods of photography. Lighter skin, because it's reflecting more light, actually sort of has a natural effect of softening certain features, and thus looking more generally pleasing to more humans.
So the same reason some people buy white cars.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Same reason that movies, you know, during the 50s and 60s often were shot with a soft filter over the lens. Do light-skinned black celebrities have it easier? All celebrities have it incredibly easy. They live pampered, privileged lives with millions of dollars. Like, I don't even understand that question.
How can they really be just that upset about it?
You're talking about people who drive around in limos. Like, who cares which of them has it marginally, maybe a tiny bit easier than the other?
There's no allowance for context in the slightest. What have people been saying? Smith's casting the film has not been confirmed, however. A report from Deadline News claims the 50-year-old actor was poised to play Mr. Williams. Many people expressed their anger on social media. Who cares?
Yeah.
I suppose they do, because they keep on bowing to these idiots, but
They
why?
need to just stop.
They need to, yes! And we all know what
Honestly,
happens when they
these-
can't find something to get pissed off like this. They just go immediately to the archives. Find an old Playboy article and bitch about John Wayne. Try to cancel a dead man. Or, in more recent news, because of a documentary, now they want to erase Michael Jackson from history.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what they honestly should do is they should just start. All of these companies should have a social media. How should I put it? Policy where they just post something and then they mute the entire all of social media. They just post something and walk away. Like, we don't even want to hear back about how pissed off you are about Will Smith. We don't care. We just don't care.
Indeed, no one really should. You know what, let's listen on a musical note. We have an article here from Oregon. Substitute teacher tells Salem 5th grader to go back to Mexico, report says. A substitute teacher was repeatedly told a Salem 5th grader to go back to Mexico if he didn't want to sing the Pledge of Allegiance. The teacher, who hasn't been publicly identified, will not be working anymore in Salem Kaiser Public Schools, the district said on Thursday. She said, "If you don't want to sing, go back to Mexico," Steven Zendejas, the boy involved, told the news station. His mother told KTO that he was born in the US and is a US citizen. The incident happened at Swiggle Elementary School. We're really disappointed what happened yesterday at Swiggle Elementary. Lillian Govis, direct spokeswoman, told the news station for a report published on Wednesday. We pride ourselves on being a safe and welcoming school district, but the substitute said that student doesn't align with our views.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the sentiment. It was a stupid thing to say because you know you're going to get in trouble, but I understand the sentiment.
True, but I have to wonder, how well was this vetted? Because why did she insist the kid sing the Pledge of Allegiance? No one. Pledge of Allegiance isn't usually a song, is it? Do you call it being a song?
No, it's like a, I don't even know how to put it. It's a pledge. You just sit there and say it. Fair enough.
I know how to. Yeah, I know the anthem, but Froman.
Yeah.
Froman, get in here.
Yes. Hello.
Did you ever sing the pledge?
Oh, all the time.
What?
Yeah, no. It was at gunpoint standard.
So this is basically one of those Bernstein Bears scenarios, isn't it?
Probably.
How did it go, Froman? Well, look, they're taking offense here. Let's end on a patriotic note. You can sing us out for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, and all the other nonsense at the end.
That doesn't ring any bells at all. That just seems quite wrong. But we got 3 more minutes to burn. Say, Ansgar, did you want to engage in a thought experiment? Some intellectual discussion, which we go through a hypothetical, I don't know, the pros and cons of bestiality.
Sure, why not? I know exactly what you're referencing.
I was actually expecting to go no and close it out. You think you would have learned your lesson by now?
I don't learn well. I think that everything should be discussed. Period. End of story. No matter how much somebody might get triggered.
Okay, well, to explain this quickly for the audience at home, here's what happened. Ansgar was involved in an intellectual stream, if I'm not mistaken, where they talk about things on an intellectual level, but then the topic of interfering with animals in this fashion came up. And Ansgar made the point that the arguments he'd heard thus far regarding the moral unacceptability of it didn't seem to have a sufficient logical base. And the result from his peers, as I could hear, was basically a collective I would like to stress, what they didn't grasp was that Ansgar was at no point saying bestiality is cool and everyone should be doing it, but was raising a serious issue with the arguments like, for instance, why is it so much better to raise an animal for butchery and eating, and then such a horrible thing that people are porking them? It's awful in all cases, but this is an important discussion to have, because while his peers have the option of just going, closing it out, and then trying to murder him on Twitter, this is probably going to become a serious discussion one day. I believe there's a very serious chance at some point this will probably be a court case. And then we want someone defending against this being made a legality, who have explored this thoroughly, who have a really good case against it that doesn't just boil down to, it's icky, no.
Right. I am absolutely convinced that a good moral argument grounded in logical moral philosophy exists. I just haven't heard it yet, unless you take the vegan route and say that we should have complete non-interference and treat animals with full human rights. You know what I mean? And I'm not willing to go that route. So.
Yes, in my case, I think this is one of the reasons why we probably will see this in a court case eventually, because some vegan out there, some real animal lover, is going to see a wonderful case to both promote that and shame meat eating.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm wrong, but it does seem like a rather golden opportunity for such an individual. And we really want someone who's thought it out there to tell them to shut up. In my case, one of the points I would make is that you will maybe need to eat meat at any point in your life if there are any number of naturally occurring situations where you might need to eat meat to avoid starvation. But I can think of no naturally occurring scenario where you need to screw a dog or die.
No, absolutely. And then you can take the utilitarian argument, but the problem with the utilitarian argument... Oh, excuse me, my phone's going off. Anyways, the problem with the utilitarian argument is that you then arrive at a situation where you have to say, okay, so we can only do that, right? We can only kill, slaughter animals when it's absolutely necessary. That's the logical conclusion of the utilitarian argument. So,
well, look, we're not going to get into this now, though, because we're out of time, and I need to avoid the Twitter hate mob.
Yes, you do. You don't want it. You don't want it.
Look, you already caught the attention of Christiosity, and they've already got a target on me, so let's stop here. But suffice to say, we're all agreed bestiality is bad.
Yes. Yes. If nothing else, for the disease vectors.
Indeed. Indeed.
Bad.
Well, and Scott, thank you very much for joining me for the stream. I hope everyone back there, even though you haven't thrown any money at me, fine, it's fairly optional. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Please, of course, stay tuned in 3 hours from now or so for the Direwolf Media weekly news recap. Until next time, ostensibly, progress continues. Yes. And that call is probably from Zero. Look, just... placate them, I'll deal with them later.